Hello, chaps and chapettes. Welcome to episode 6 of the Investalex podcast. As you may have noticed, I'm here in a new studio, the new home of the podcast. And I'd like to welcome Wayne, who's the first guest in the new home. Wayne, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Right, my name is Wayne. I am a property deal sourcer, deal packager, predominantly deal source and package in the Nottingham, Derbyshire and Birmingham area. Yeah, and happy to be here in your new home first time.
Welcome. I mean, you said a minute ago, it's a bit of a strange setup. It's like getting a hug from a robot, which made me chuckle a bit. But
quite intimate.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of your journey so far in property, how's it going so far? So when did you start, and what got you into property?
I mean, I've always kind of been into property. I'd say, like I said before when we spoke, you've watched the property programs and thought,
grand
look at that.
designs.
Yeah, it looks lovely. I'd love to do things like that, and it just seems interesting. And you get involved in the program yourself. You're like, no way is that costing that much? You sort of get into it, and it's like always had that interest, but just never taken the leap. Never sort of done it. So about 10 months ago. Probably literally after I proposed to my missus, to be fair.
Okay.
We'd done it and then started arranging a wedding and whatnot.
Do you think that was a catalyst of you starting the property journey? Or
probably
the business?
That and obviously my little boy as well, kind of with the day and age of things, you think like when he's 6 now, so when he's 20 things and he's getting into the stuff himself, it'd be so hard for him to do things like that. So doing the wedding, I thought I've got to do something. I've just got to take a leap. And then I'd say I probably started deep diving into it about 10 months ago. Really sort of, do what you should do, listen to podcasts, read books, watch content, follow a few people that are doing it, get some information, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned your son as well and your soon-to-be wife. That a lot of people ask me, like, what is your why? And that for you, it sounds very, very clear, like that is your why. Your little boy, your soon-to-be wife, creating that generational wealth for your new family.
100%, 100%. That's probably what it is to have that.
It's powerful.
Yeah, it is, 100%, because I don't want to be in the position where you're near retirement age and me, because, my missus, she works, I work. I don't want to be us working when we're 62, 67 for the same thing over and over again. And then by the time you get to enjoy life, it's pretty much really over. You're like, all right, you might enjoy another 20, 25 years, which is a long time, but I'd rather be able to do that
now.
Yeah, now.
Yeah.
Or in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
That's my drive for it, making sure that I can do something for my family that, makes life comfortable. I don't necessarily want to be like a property mogul where I've got a massive business. I'm more of like a kind of lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Probably I want to be able to make good money where I don't need to worry, can do stuff with my family.
Oh, certainly achievable, yeah. I mean, I'm probably the same as you, mate. I probably don't want to be like newspaper headlines as some of your leads has been. I don't want to be that level whatsoever. I don't necessarily like the attention, says the guy that's running his 6th episode of a podcast. But like just having the lifestyle is absolutely bang on, mate. Yeah,
it is.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I think that the lifestyle is more appealing to me than managing and running like a multi-million-pound business.
Yeah,
where you've done the small bit, but now you're back in the same position, but a lot wealthier.
Yeah.
But that comes with more responsibility, more work, that thing. So that...
you probably end up having staff, so their jobs are literally on your shoulders.
Exactly,
so that's another stress that people probably don't talk about. But one thing I've learned about myself is that it's fantastic having these goals and having your why, but you need to put in the groundwork. It doesn't, just because you have a goal doesn't mean you're automatically going to get it. You have to
100%.
Step by step, doing everything possible to get to where you want to be.
Exactly.
And that's I've probably struggled with recently, just to actually do what is important today, to then progress the business that 1%, that 2%, whatever it might be, every single day.
Small. I always believe that the small wins will lead to a bigger outcome.
Yeah.
Because, instead of rushing something, because you can be 100 mile an hour, go into something 100 mile an hour, and then, like with deal sourcing, for example, you can hear about it, read about it, think, oh, I love that. Watch a couple of videos, do something, and boom, go out.
Oh, there's so much more that goes into it.
So much more.
But then if you aggregate all of these small marginal gains, it's like I can't actually remember the coach's name, but the cycling Team GB for cycling, during the French, what's it called, the cycling, the Tour de France.
Tour de France, yeah, Tour de France.
Tour de France and the Olympics, actually. They got a brand new coach in. I don't really think he had a cycling background, but he had very much like an analytical background. And he even made sure that their mattresses, wherever they travelled to, and their pillows were the exact same. They made sure, the air conditioning units were not connected to the main hotel. It was completely separate. So every tiny marginal gain, they shaved their legs. All these tiny marginal gains would lead to, and it did, lead to world records and Olympic records and Tour de France records
success,
and all these wins where Team GB didn't previously have. So all of these, what I'm trying to say is small improvements does make a big difference.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because like I said, I think a lot of people will cut out the small stuff and go straight into the big stuff. Like a lot of people won't go out and get educated on what they want to do. They'll just see someone do it and then go, I can do that, and then go out and do it. Some people might be lucky.
Well, it's a good mentality to have. Like, if they've done it, why not me? That's the mentality you should really have. But you still got to go out and do it.
Yeah, and this is it. You to have the mentality of someone else can do it, I can do it. Great, but look at what they've done to get there. If you really know someone, you follow a few people. Like we said, people like Jamie York and these sort of guys, where they started from the ground up. They've done the groundwork. They didn't just get to where they are like that. There's wheels in motion.
I mean, I think I did my main education with Jamie York and Aspire, and I think their business has been running for about 10 years, something like that.
I'm literally.
This is how you started as well, wasn't it?
So I started really getting into property by watching some of Jamie's content on YouTube. Yeah. And I think the way he presents himself draws you to him, because there's no BS, there's no gimmick with him. A lot of these gurus, or if you want to call them, or property moguls, or whatever they are on YouTube, give you everything sugar-coated. Look at what you can do. This is they sell you the dream.
Financially free and
100
days
exactly.
or something.
Be a millionaire in a year, quit your day job, that sort of
that would be, mate, if anyone...
If it were that easy...
Sam Spencer, he's part of Aspire as well. He said, like, all the information and knowledge is out there, but you just got to implement it. Like, exactly. If we were the people that we are today, just because of what we read and take in our brains, everyone would be a millionaire with six packs.
100%.
That's not true. You got to implement that diet. You got to implement your knowledge into real life, and then
you got to preach. You got to practice what you preach and things like that. So everything you got, it all falls into place once you start. I believe you notice that things snowball a little bit, and you do eventually get little wins that give you that. Maybe I am doing the right thing. Yeah. Believe me, there's a lot of losses to the wins.
Yeah, but that's where you learn, isn't it? I mean, I'm in the same position as you, mate. Like, continuously, there's losses probably every day, but how do you overcome it? And it's difficult. But yeah, just maybe try and get back on track of property specifically.
Yeah.
So you said your areas are Nottingham,
Derbyshire, and Burnham. They're the areas I'm concentrating on. Solely because I live in Essex, Southend, so I don't realistically want to be somewhere where I'm too far because I kind of want to be able to provide any investor I work with a good service. So I don't want to say, for example, I can source you a property in South Wales or Scotland or Manchester and that. And if I want to do like a project management,
why not Southend then? Why not Essex?
because I feel like the Essex area, it's like a more of I have tried. I've looked around, and it's a lot of flips and things like that. And I want to do deals like buy to let, BRRs, and then things because that's what I want for my portfolio. So if I can learn it by deal sourcing, then when it comes to building my own portfolio, I'm gonna know.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point actually. So you're almost learning as you go on, so that when you do have the capital behind you,
I can just go out
straight into it.
I don't need, there will probably be times where I'll probably rely on deal sourcing myself because I believe the deal sourcing aspect of it it saves you the time.
Yeah.
It gives you the expertise of someone that can look at something and know whether it's a good deal.
Yeah.
Because you can, just because you've got lots of money doesn't necessarily mean you know the ins and outs of property.
The same for me. So with raising finance, I'll be getting like private lending. So I become the investor. So I'm more than happy to pay a deal sourcer their fee in South Wales, for example, because they know that they're the expert in their area. They can provide the returns that I require, rather than me trying to research the area. Like it's already been there, and someone's already there and set up and qualified, educated. They know the area. Why not just pay them the fee? It's a much quicker turnaround.
Exactly.
It's much less stress on my
convenience, isn't it?
It is convenient,
and
yeah.
In this
even
world,
with paying their fee, the deal still stacks.
Yeah.
So there's no issue there whatsoever.
And like you said, because we live in a world where not that everyone's lazy, it's just we pay for convenience because life is just too busy.
Yeah.
Life is full on, I mean, myself, I
look at like
work still, working full time still, got a family to look after. So learning on the go and things like that is what I'm doing at the moment. But the convenience of having somebody else there, if I needed to go, if I've got money to go get a deal, I'm not going to go out and look for myself convenience.
Yeah, deal sourcing is not a new concept. Like,
Exactly.
Regis workspaces, WeWork, Uber Eats, Deliveroo, all of these are forms of middlemen or middle parties between a building and a workspace or office or a restaurant and a consumer of food.
Yeah.
It's not a new concept. You just, that person in the middle making things happen.
Providing a service.
You pay a premium for Deliveroo on a Sunday morning when you're hungover.
Yep.
£3.
That's it.
But thousands of people do that every single day, probably more at the weekend, and that's where they make their margin. So the that's probably tying into rent to rent at all, which I'm not doing at all. I don't know about you, but yeah, but it also ties into deal sourcing because you've got the investor, you've got the project.
Yep.
You're facilitating in the middle. You're the one doing all the work, all the legwork. They can be silent if they want. They can be active, non-active, whatever they fancy. If they've got a really, really pressurised job, a family, weekends where it's carnage with new kids or whatever, they can't afford to view 10 houses every weekend.
Yeah,
that's where you come in.
Exactly. And I know a lot of people that you always hear target high net worth people and things like that, which is, again, of course I want to do that, but I also want to be able to provide a service for people that actually a day-to-day like me and you, they might have a bit of money in the bank where they think, don't really want to keep it.
Not sure what to do with this.
Not sure to keep it in the bank by all means, but it's going to be worth less.
It's going to depreciate.
In the year's time. Or, someone might think, why not we invest it in property? And then so I can probably imagine there's probably deal sources out there that probably won't touch someone like that because not worth it to me. You're going to give me one deal a year. I need so and so, but I wouldn't turn someone away like that because I'm there myself. I'm in that position where I'd like to hope that if I went to someone, they'd go, "Of course, I can help you with that. No worries." You never know what the situation might be in a year's time. They might come into a load of money.
Yeah,
might win the lottery.
That's why you don't discount anyone.
Exactly.
Really.
And like you always hear deal sources, money is money. You don't turn it down. You can co-source it, split the money. You know, half of something is better than 100% of nothing.
Yeah, you can swear on here.
So, you know, you kind of just keep, that's my mentality, is it? So help whoever wants to come to you.
Yeah.
Paycheck is a paycheck.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like for me, I mean, when you're starting out, like every little helps, you know?
Every little helps, yeah.
And if you can post about it, you can share your story, you can share anything like, okay, this is into your network. This is someone that I've worked with. We collaborated together.
Yep.
He brought something to the table. I brought the other thing to the table. That's something to shout about.
Of course,
that's
it's
a really good thing to shout about.
Anything it's a hard. I believe it's a hard line of work to get into, because of a lot of time you need social proof as well. People want to see that you've done it. You know, of course, I know you understand that you're dealing with a lot of money. You know, you're not going to give your money over to some random guy who says, "Oh, have you got 50k? Give me your 50k and I'll go make you 100k out of it." And they were like, "No, I don't think so."
If I found if it's too much, it's too good to be true. It scares people off.
Yeah. And typically, it is, isn't it? If you think about it, because you can get some great deals out there, obviously. But I think that, you know, you need to be very on the ball with your numbers to get these.
Yeah, that's where your own due diligence comes in. And just moving on to a couple of viewings that you've had recently. I think you said particularly around the South End area.
Yeah, so obviously when you first start, kind of, you do a couple of your courses and stuff in deal source, and they kind of say to you, like, you know, stick to the areas, you know, stick to your local area, build a bit of experience, things like that. So it's exactly what I did, and a lot of the stuff that I was looking at around my way pretty much are like probably more suited to flip deals. So what I did is I just went on the viewings with didn't know whether I was going to, you know, put an offer in for the houses or anything at the time.
This is a block viewing with like 10 other people?
No, they were individual. Some of them were individual viewings. Some of them were like an open house kind of thing where you could go to because it's a little bit easier. You don't sort of waste anyone's time then. You know, but some of them were, at my early stages, it was just a quick viewing, you know, on a Saturday or a Sunday, and just having a look at stuff. And just, I think it was I more wanted to do it just to build up that experience of looking and knowing what to look out for.
What questions to ask as well.
What questions to ask. I mean, the first couple of times I even brought a little sheet of like a tick box,
a checklist,
like a checklist, like, and then you're like, right,
how was the boiler?
How was the boiler?
What's the roof looking like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from a construction background, so I half know some stuff as well, and I've done a lot of DIY on my own house, so I know what to do and look out for. But it's just you feel like it's a different world, and you're in a different. Like, you're checking this and that, and then I've even had agents ask me, what are you ticking off? What are you writing down? And then when you say like, well, I'm an investor, so I'm just looking to see where the numbers are for me, what I'm going to have to do in this house for it to make it work.
Yeah.
And then you can see their little demeanour changes a bit, and like, all right, and they kind of back away from you and let you go about your business. But yeah, viewings were okay. Nothing really come of some of them. As you know, like there's a lot of losses.
Well, is that because you were outbid, or just because you didn't have the investor backing or something like that?
Yeah, to be fair, it was really early stages where you kind of, where I wasn't as educated as I am now. So it was kind of, let me go see if I can get a good deal. Yeah. And then I can put it out into the world and see if someone wants it.
You got educated with Aspire, didn't you?
I originally got educated with Fontaine Brothers. That's the first course I did, which in fairness for me was really good because it's kind of based around the learning that I can do.
When was that, about a year ago?
That's not that long ago. It's probably about 5 months ago.
Okay, so
like that. No, not even that. About, let's say 4 or 5 months ago, roughly. Yeah. So, and it was around then when I was doing these viewings, and obviously I was doing the viewings while I was doing the course, and I wasn't at the stage of the course where they say to you, do your numbers first. Don't just go and view the property for the sake of viewing it, because you're wasting your time. You're wasting the agent's time. I didn't really know that. I didn't really grasp that concept. So, but again, I got something out of it. I learned from it, and then now I won't go and view a property until I've done the numbers, run my analytics, check the area, then sort of everything you need to do to think, right, is this worth it? Call the agent up, speak to them, see what the vendors.
Every time I call an agent, the first thing they want to do is get me out of viewing. And I always say to them, like, hold your horses a bit. I've got a few questions.
Yeah,
like,
It's
I don't know, about the lease or about the condition of the property. Have you seen the photos or like the seller's motivation?
Exactly.
You can't tell any of these things from the viewing.
Whether it's in probate, whether it's
exactly. So if it's not worth my time viewing, I don't want to waste their time. If it's not worth either of our times, but for some reason they always just want to get you on viewings.
It's either they want to get you on viewings or they want your details so they can bombard you with
mailing list
emails.
Yeah.
It's just, and I think that it is a battle with agents. My personal experience with them hasn't been overly great, but again, I'm not going to let that put me off because you will find someone eventually. And I think it's about mastering your approach to it and let's say your script on how you speak to people, like we've spoken about before.
In my experience is if you remember their name, if you remember what they did at a weekend, if you talk to them 5, 6, 7 times, they know you. And I can even tell like it's Luke on the phone or that it's Alex on the phone.
Yeah.
It just sounds really cringy and cliche, but you do have to build up that rapport.
You do, 100%. I believe that because
it takes a couple of phone calls, over a series of weeks for them to realise, okay, this guy's serious about this area or this specific strategy or type of property. Then they will give you the time of day as well.
Yeah, I believe that. Someone actually said to me, I went to a networking event and they said to me, do you just call them just for the sake of calling them? I said, no, why would I do that?
You know what I did at the start to get rid of my nerves? Because literally when I first started, like, I'd never bought a house before. Like, never done anything before. So I just called any agent for any reason, just for the sake of talking to someone else about property on the phone. Just to get rid of the nerves, really.
I mean, I almost bottled buying our own house for me and the missus because I was worried about speaking to him. You're like, I'll get my call. Give me 10 minutes. I'll call them. But you just got to do it.
Yeah,
just got to do it. And that I find that the more that you do it, the more confidence you get. You're only at the end of the phone. It's not like you're in front of them.
Yeah.
So you're in the phone. But just speak to them.
Oh, yeah, we spoke about this earlier as well. But you have to lead the conversation as well. If they're asking about, do you want to book a viewing? Like potentially, or can I have your details? You've got to lead that conversation, and I'll start asking questions specific to the property, specific to the seller. Otherwise, they probably have like a general script that they've got to keep to.
Yeah,
and estate agents, as much as they might want a quick sale for their seller, because at the end of the day, the seller is their client. The longer it's on the market for, the more money they're making. Not all of them, but the more money themselves are making as a branch or as an estate agency because of the affiliate products that they have with brokers and solicitors and this and that.
Of course.
So that it's not always the case, but
it is. Yeah,
sometimes it is.
Like you said, that you do. I do believe that if you can get the first question in with them, then you've got them. Because once they've answered that question, you've got your next question, and then your next.
Yeah,
and
true.
once you don't have, and I always believe, don't have too many questions, because if you keep continuously asking them questions, they're just going to get fed up. I've found that
the key, you got to understand the key highlight questions that are going to give you the most information as possible,
exactly,
to make a decision whether it's worth your while or not.
Exactly. Yeah. And I always do believe when when I first started, I was stumbling words and like what you're talking about. But I found that when you pick up the phone, they say to you, just say hello. And when they say who you're speaking to, so saying hello by their name, build that connection with them quickly. And then say like, oh, how are you doing?
Just politeness straight away.
I did it once. I think the last call I had with someone, which the property had an offer on it, which was above an offer that I would be willing to make. But I actually spoke to the vendor, the agent, should I say, for a good 10 minutes, because when I spoke to her, I just said to her, how are you doing? like her name was Holly. She went, "Yeah, I'm fine," because it was hot. I went, "I hope you're not stuck in an office with no aircon and kind of making
What a
conversation."
Friday afternoon, like, cool, I can't wait for the weekend.
And
How
she
about
was
you?
like, she went, "Yeah, unfortunately, I'm stuck in the office. We've got no aircon. We've got the door open and the fan by the door, so it's doing it when it's due." But you've built that connection quickly with her.
Yeah.
And then she was more willing to talk to me then, and I was speaking to her about stuff and about if she's got any sort of same style properties in the area, which she didn't have at the moment.
Okay, well, that's how you do it,
Yeah.
right?
And then she was like, she did take my details and say, "Look, I can throw you emails over if property's got." I think I'm getting.
Thing is, though, they get hundreds of calls a day. They're not going to remember you, are they?
And this is it.
Or me, or anyone.
Well, I mean,
specifically.
you'd like to hope that you might meet one of them or speak to one of them that will take your details and have your details on the desk, or even something come up a day or two after, and they're like, "Oh, actually, I spoke to someone."
Yeah,
2 days.
true. If it's fresh in their memory.
But
Or if your requirements are very, very specific, they might be like, "Oh, yeah, it was after this strange old property with like
yeah. And this
loft
is it.
space without any window or something
But
that was ready for the conversion."
It's all about reps, really, isn't it? Speaking to as many people as you can, getting as many conversations in, and if you have 100 conversations, you only need one of them to remember you to then. And once you get that first person,
But that's the same for the investor side as well, mate. Yeah. So that's why I do so many networking events, and that's why I do so much outreach on LinkedIn, on Instagram, because I might have spoke to like 1,000 people since I started. Just takes one or two or a handful to really like propel the business, get that influx of capital.
Yeah, 100%. That's probably what I'm now mainly doing, more than actually not so much looking at properties and speaking to agents, but I've probably, let's say I'm doing like 70%, I'm reaching out to investors and property groups, just a comment on someone's post to spark a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
And things like that. I've managed to speak to like a broker that works me, that then I can now use, and if I refer a client to them or an investor to them, I'll get a fee from the broker.
Oh, they'll give you a little referral fee.
A referral fee, which is great, and also a solicitor to do the same.
And anyone in their right mind who owns a business will give a referral fee.
Yeah. But not many people know that you can do that, though, to be fair.
Yeah,
I've spoken to so many people I've spoken to a lot of people in networking, where you go to these networking events, the free ones, or even if it's the little £25 paid ones, whatever it is. So many people there's so much information they don't know. Within it, like you can use people to sourcing fees, you can charge extras for project managements and things like that. They just see it as like,
or even my mortgage broker, if I shove someone in his direction,
exactly,
he'll give me a little kickback.
Exactly, yeah.
Not too bad.
Again, like we said earlier, money's money. Every little is going to help,
Yeah.
And that's the way
I'm really aiming for the big ticket items these days.
I think we all kind of aim for the big ticket items, but we've got to start off somewhere, haven't we?
Yeah. Every little helps. That's
exactly that. Yeah, that's my mentality at the moment, because I'm literally funding everything off my 9 to 5, which it's just a stretch. But I know what I pay now will pay tenfold later on in life, especially like the training is one of the main things. I've spent so much on training.
Are you still going through the process with Aspire?
Yeah. What
week are you in? I mean, I did it, and for the viewers who don't know, it's basically a 3-month program.
Yes, it's 3 months.
Once or twice a week, generally twice a week. Sometimes there's a little break, so it's once a week.
We are week 3.
Week 3, okay.
Week 3, yeah.
Out of like 12 or 13.
Out of 12, yeah. Out of 12.
How are you finding it so far?
Yeah, it's a lot more intense. It's good. There's a lot of information to retain.
Yeah.
But obviously the good thing is, because they're live webinars, you can be on the live webinar, which is what I like to do myself. They're at 6:00 every Monday and Thursday, but they're also uploaded. So you've got access to them anytime. You can access them to go back to them.
You can rewatch them. I can rewatch them now. If I wanted to.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Lifetime access to things like that. Because you're never going to retain all the information, but I always put my notes down, jot some notes down. But if there's something specific that I want to know or I didn't quite get, highlight that.
Yeah,
I can go back to
or
it.
make a timestamp so you can go back, and watch it.
Yeah, exactly. But
yeah, I think getting involved with them, for that training was one of the best decisions I've made in my life, because that's what's kick-started this property business. Really, I wouldn't have done anything that I have done now. Really, maybe it just needed that. I just needed that kick up the arse, that shove, and to immerse myself in property, and that's what I've done, which is good. But
it's a great thing, and one of my philosophies in this is always speak to the people that are doing what you want to do successfully.
Yeah,
because there's no point speaking to someone that is like in the same position as you, because you're going to be on the same level. The only thing you're going to probably get from that person is something that you may not have known or done yourself in the same position. But whereas if you're speaking and learning from people that are doing it day in, day out, and this is their bread and butter, you'll progress.
That's the power of a network, isn't it? Or mentors, or whatever you want to call it. We're both in the Fontaines. There's about 400 people in there, isn't there? Of all levels. So if you have a question, someone is going to have an answer.
I think that group is amazing as well. There's so many knowledgeable people in there. You can throw a question in it and it will get answered by someone.
That's it.
And that's what I like. Everyone's got a different style. So no matter what sort of question you want, people throw questions in for rent to rent. I'm not going to know the answer to that, because that's not what I'm into. But someone's going to get an answer. Yeah. But by looking and reading them answers, now I know that myself. Mm-hmm. So you're half educating yourself on other things. It's no point. You stick to a strategy that you want and know, yes, because I've believed that don't be a jack of all trades and a master of none, because it's pointless. Be specific, do something.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can either go the investor route, where you tell them that you can do a BRR or a flip, whichever they prefer, or you can just be a rent-to-rent manager or something, or you can go down another route of deal first, where it's just an unbelievable flip or an unbelievable BRR, something like that. And you do have to choose which side of the road you want to go down. Otherwise, you'll spread yourself too thin. You won't give anyone any real quality or value.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and it's just not the way. Just not the way to go. But
no, I don't believe. I mean, I kind of want to just stick to, because I work full time at the moment as well. It just sits well with me being more bespoke to an investor. What does that investor want? Right, that investor wants this. I can go and look for that. I can do that in my own time. I'm not rushed off my feet doing it. I'm not, looking for 10 deals a week to throw into something where, if you've got an investor list, where you've got 200-300 investors, and
do that, then
you do that, because
no problem. Yeah,
because 10 deals,
someone's going to take it.
Exactly. But when you're at the early stage, I think by being niche to a couple of investors, you'll get deals and you'll build it up, and then it will snowball, and then before you know it, that investor's going to tell another investor.
Yeah, word of mouth,
like
a colleague, friend, family, exactly. Whoever.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think my first thought on it is I want a deal sold now. I need a deal sold now. I need to get my money back that I've invested in myself. Mm-hmm. I want that back now. But when, kind of sit back on it and think, you know what? Yeah, I'm not in no rush. I still work. Chill. Just let it happen. Not to say just sit back and do nothing. Still put in the work, because I'm still putting in the work. I do it in the mornings on the train. I'll do it at night when my little boy goes down. So I'm up on the laptops and stuff like that, networking, looking at properties, because
it's time, isn't it?
It's time.
And that's why investors generally don't want to do it, because if it's taking you the morning, evening and weekends to do it,
what are they doing?
They're not going to want to do it.
No, exactly.
That's why you take the burden off of them.
Exactly. And that's the service you provide. Yeah. They are time poor, cash rich.
Yep.
And
you've got to find them.
You've got to find them. They are out there. They are out there.
Yeah.
But,
networking,
I think networking is one of the key things.
I was in Marble Arch this afternoon at this like private members club or something. Had like a 3-day pass. I must have found it on the floor. So I don't know how they let me in, but no, the amount of Bentleys, Ferraris, Rangers I saw, like the money is there,
and
and I live like 20 minutes from there.
Yeah,
you know,
and this is it.
Money's around,
and it's always you don't notice it because you're never looking for it.
Yeah,
before you get into it, or before you start to get into deal sourcing, or even in property in general, you don't look at things to look for money. But now you've got that in your head, you think anyone can be an investor.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone. You could be sitting at the bar at someone
you
don't know who they are.
And it's not always probably the smartest dressed person in the room, is it?
No, it's not. Look at the most wealthiest men in the world.
Yeah. T-shirt and jeans.
Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. They don't dress like they're who they're meant to be, you know. No. So could be anyone. You never know.
Anyway, just moving on. So what is it now? August. Got 4 or 5 months left of the year. What's your goals for 2024?
Cool. So my goals are 24. Obviously, I'm on the Aspire course now, so
got to finish that.
Most likely finish that. But what I'm in the background, I'll probably continue to just build my network up. I want to try to connect with probably a good few more builders, just so I can have a good network of a build team for things.
I've got some in Birmingham for you.
Because I like that end-to-end service that people provide, not just there's your deal.
Yeah, you want a contractor basically that can do everything.
Exactly.
Plumbing, plastering, electric works, everything.
Exactly that, yeah.
Otherwise, interfacing with different trades is going to be a headache. So if you can get one company that can do the lot.
And with them sort of people as well, they tend to project manage themselves. Yeah. So you've got the project management as well, but you can be the project manager with them.
I've got an external project manager who I'll always get on projects though, because you just want external. Yeah, because he's got my best interests at heart.
Of course, yeah.
But their own project manager is just going to basically be on the books. So I want someone that knows
that's
me.
going to push them.
Yeah,
I get that. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind.
I trust them completely. Like I'm sure they'll do a good
Eventually,
job.
I'd like to do that myself once I'm out of work and doing this full time. Project manage it myself, because I love that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you must have experience in that.
Yeah, because it's just throwing a few facts into someone. Why ain't this done? Why ain't that done? Come on, that's all well and good. Like, but plan for 2024. Let's get this course finished, network a bit more, probably attend quite a few more networking events, connect with people, and hopefully have a deal sold by the end of the year. That's my aim. I don't want to set a goal that's unachievable, 5 deals before Christmas.
Yeah.
That's not me. I'd rather just not put myself under unnecessary pressure, have a deal sold. Because I think once that first one's done, your confidence is going to go through the roof. Like, actually,
credibility there.
It's not as hard as I thought.
Yeah,
and just hopefully, and then let snowball into 2025 and keep on going. That's why we're in it.
Let the journey commence. Lovely.
Let the journey commence, as they say. And then obviously get married in 2025. So,
God, you got maybe if that's a bit of motivation to sell for your deals to pay for the wedding, I don't know what is, mate.
Yeah, but if I tell her there's extra money, she will ask for extras for the wedding.
No, a few more guests.
I mean, it's literally we get married next August.
Okay.
Bank holiday weekend next August, so it's a year from now.
Nice.
So any extra money would be fantastic, to be fair, because they are not cheap. So
yeah, no, I don't envy you there. I think I'm way off getting married. But we'll see. Anyway, Wayne, I want to thank you for your time.
Yeah, lovely, mate. Thank you very much for having me, mate. It's been a pleasure. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Thank you all, everyone, for watching. Diogo's laughing at me in the corner over there. But yeah, thank you for watching, everyone online, on YouTube and listening on Spotify. I just want to say, don't stress, just invest. I'll do the rest. Cheers.